If you're just joining, welcome to Tea and Conversation. This is Trustee Adam Winston. We do this every Monday, so excuse me for stuttering. It's not like I'm not used to this, but some days I still have. Welcome to Tea and Conversation. This is Trustee Adam Winston. We are issues. We do this every Monday, so. Anyway, welcome to Tea and Conversation. This is Trustee Adam Winston. We are live now. I don't have any guests as of yet that are on, and we don't really have an agenda today. So this again will be just random small talk. We will see how it goes. I know Jason Decker did send me out a message that he was doing a fundraiser today, so he was not going to be able to attend, which is okay. I mean, he's on the campaign trail. Many of us are not on the campaign trail. Went to an interesting event over the weekend. So I went to a lawyer's event over the weekend, and that was interesting. Crazy Hogs is a little bit, not Crazy Hogs, Chug-a-Lugs, I'm calling them Crazy Hogs. Chug-a-Lugs wasn't as busy this weekend. We did have a special board meeting, which happened I think that was last Thursday. And then tomorrow we have our National Night Out here in the Village of Glenwood. So National Night Out is an event that you will see all over in various communities where they have helicopters. It's supposed to be ways to get the police more community centric. Ours is tomorrow, so we have our regular standard board meeting and along with the National Night Out, where there should be fun and festivities for the community and so on and so forth. But again, welcome to Tea and Conversation. We are live. This is being streamed on YouTube, and it also is going to be shown on Facebook. So if you come on here, just know that you will be on both of those channels. But again, I was supposed to have some special guests. Some of the special guests today were going to be some of these candidates that are actually running for office from the Republican side. There's a number of candidates that are running for office. Yes, I'm a Democrat, and they're welcome to come on the show. And I've always been one of these guests that doesn't mind inviting people from different sides of the world here. So if some of them attend, I shall see. Michelle, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Just kind of taking it easy. I don't really have a jammed up agenda. I wanted to have some entrepreneurs on here today from around the area. And I also wanted to have, we were going to have some guests from the Republican Party. They were going to be coming on the show, and I don't know, they didn't confirm one way or another. So we'll stick around and see if those guests attend. How was your weekend?
It was really good, Adam.
Good. The weather cooperated, so that's
the weather was definitely cooperative.
Yeah, they definitely cooperated. Today was a nice hot day. I don't know. Do you feel like this summer has been hot? I mean, I know we've had some warm days, but do you feel like, oh my God, it's hotter than normal? I don't really feel that, and I see it all in the news stories, but I don't really feel like this has been a very hot summer.
I do. I think it's been, so normally I think that it doesn't really have consecutive
So
days.
you also got an echo. What's going on? Are you in an empty hallway?
Yeah, I'm in an empty hallway. No, I don't have any idea why I have an echo.
Okay. I just thought I'd check.
Yeah, I don't know. But I think that consecutive days in the 90s normally don't come until like the end of July into August.
Yeah.
And we had consecutive days in the 90s in June and in July. So it has been a hotter than normal summer. I know for sure that the grass kind of turned brown much earlier in the season this year.
See, I don't know. I don't know why this year I just don't feel like it's been just an overwhelming, I don't feel like it's been that hot. And I don't know. I actually worn, I haven't even worn shorts, I think, but 3 times yesterday I put on a pair of shorts. I took them off because I felt it was a little too cold. So I don't know. I just didn't feel like it was that hot this summer, but
You
maybe.
know, excuse me, elderly people run cold, so.
Well, and maybe it's just these old bones. Maybe my bones is just old, where now it just takes more heat. My father was 85 before he made his transition, and it'd be 90 degrees outside. He'd be talking about how cold it is. I'm like, Dad, it's hot as heck in here, right? So maybe I'm just getting to that point now where I just have old bones. Yeah, old bones. Is that such a thing? In any event, so I noticed, and we just have a random talk until some of my guests come on, because I really just didn't have a plan. And the plan was really to bring on some guests from that ice cream shop that's in Olympia Fields, that African American owned ice cream shop. We were going to have some guests that were going to be on here that are supposed to be coming on. I don't know if they're going to attend or not, but they're going to be talking about Robin Kelly. And I don't know if you heard, but Robin Kelly is not going to be running for her seat. Did you see this article in the paper? Did you hear anything about it? So Robin Kelly, not her congressional seat. Okay, so Robin Kelly was also she's a state representative,
Right.
State representative, but she also held, a Democratic, and I'm trying to remember, it's a Democratic, like a party chair seat for the Democratic Party.
Right.
And something is going on. So I don't know what's going on, but she just did not have the votes needed.
I did hear that the governor was backing. I don't know the woman's name, and I don't want to misname her, but I know it was a Hispanic woman that he was backing for that position. I think Melissa or somebody like that might be her first name.
Well, Hernandez. So the person that he's backing Elizabeth Hernandez. Okay. And so I guess just for those people who are not listening, I hate when I don't have all of my facts in front of me, but the facts of the matter is U.S. Representative Robin Kelly is also the Democratic Party chair, and she was the Democratic Party chair. And I guess there's a separate vote that takes place with all of the leadership throughout the state, and she just did not have enough votes in order to hold that seat. Therefore, Pritzker, the governor, decided to, put Elizabeth Hernandez. The thing about it is that was a very powerful seat. And here's my criticism. And you know what? So I said that I didn't have anything to talk about. I always got a lot to talk about, Michelle. Mm-hmm. And even when I don't have anything to talk about, I probably got more to talk about than most people.
Yeah.
So the leadership did not support. And when I say the leadership, I think that there's only one person that I could think of that outwardly supported Robin Kelly, and that was Donna Miller. Interesting enough, Donna Miller, the 5th congressional seat person, not 5th congressional. I don't even remember what her is it the 4th? What they redistrict, so I don't even know. She used to be my commissioner. Now she's no longer my commissioner, but she was the only one who seemed to support Robin Kelly. Now, what's interesting about that is, and I'm sorry, I know I'm gonna probably catch some flack. Robin Kelly essentially, they did the same thing to Robin Kelly that they do to people like me. They just boxed her out. Nobody spoke up and supported her. And I don't know why, right? Because you would think that, she would have been one of these individuals that they would have supported. They just did not support her to be the Democratic chair in the state of Illinois. So, but my critique is that sometimes people play these same games and then the game ends up playing them at times. So she did not have any support outside of Donna Miller. that actually even stood up and even spoke on her behalf. So, I mean, it's just interesting how this game sometimes unfolds because, it seems like even when you're playing by, oh, I'm a part of the party, I'm going to stand with them. When they don't want you, they don't care. Trustee Max, how are you today?
I am better than good, sir. And you?
I'm doing good. So we are hopefully awaiting any guests. I didn't get any confirmation from any of the Republican guests. And we were just shooting the breeze right now, talking about Robin Kelly just not appearing to have any support from anyone other than Donna Miller. Nobody else supported her. And I just find that, and I'm not going to say it's laughable, but isn't it though? Isn't it kind of laughable? Because you would think that this person who's been serving, who's pretty powerful, that she would have had at least, 3 people that would have supported her. What do you say?
Not quite sure if we got a lot of spineless people out here. They will throw their support behind you, behind closed doors, behind the green curtain. They're with you all the way.
Oh yeah, I support you, but I don't tell nobody.
Don't tell anybody. While I'm out here taking bullets, I don't need you to support me, and I'm shielding you. I need you to be out front. So I don't really know how much support she got, but it doesn't make a difference because perception is everything.
Yes. Yeah. So here's the thing. It is the Democratic, and I'm putting this question out there. Because I've given this some thought, right? And what I've given some thought to is that we at times look at one person holding multiple seats as a good thing. And Michelle, the more I start thinking about this, one person holding 3 seats, doesn't that often, if it was 2 other people in a seat, and then you partner with that person, that expands your network. Has the Democratic Party in the state of Illinois become so tight-fisted where they want to control all of the power that now it's biting them in the ass?
What I've found is that people are a jack of all trades, but not a master of none.
Yeah.
How can you master 3 seats? Just how can you do it? Because there are 3 different seats.
Why do the voters allow this?
They don't know any better. They don't know any better because if they come into the booth and your name is on the ballot twice, they're going to punch once. And when they go down through the ballot and they see your name again, oh, I'm going to do it again. So I think it's just out of muscle reflex.
Right.
that the levers are being pulled twice. They don't really know why. We really don't have educated voters. We got people who are complacent because they're exhausted. This is exhausting. You can't keep up with all of this because there's so many twists and turns. There's so much underbelly that is sickening. It really is.
Yeah, it is very exhausting. And I often say that I understand. I went to this event this past weekend. And as I sat there, and again, I know I have to do a better job at being much more visible. I guess I'm one of these individuals that I do the work and I try to do the work, but I don't always look for the recognition. And I guess that if you're going to be a politician, people need to know what you're doing, right? So I guess that's the thing. But I also did not get into this as for a photo shoot, right? I didn't get into running for office just to get up on stage with other politicians. I'd rather be with the people I'm supposed to be serving. But it just seems like this whole political landscape is such a sleazy thing. And it just seems like now we've gotten to the point where we're so just trying to grasp and just get a hold of all of the power. And we want to keep it all. It's mine, my precious. That now we've gotten to a point where we're not seeing the value of having I got Michelle here, and I got you, Trustee Matz here. And if I was the representative, and then you were the committee person, and Michelle was the Speaker of the House, each one of these people bring their own network of people. But if I say, forget it, I don't want Trustee Matz and I don't want Michelle a part of it, and then I'm going to just be just that one person holding all the seats. I look at that through the lens of, now the party's only as big as my network. Now all of these seats are only as big as, and I may have a network, but I may not have it. My network would be even bigger if I had the people that supported you and the people that supported Michelle and so on and so forth. It just seems like we've moved to a point in the political landscape in Illinois where it's grab as much power before you turn the lights off, right? It seems like we're just on this, it's mine, it's all mine, and I'm going to control everything. And I just think that that's completely dangerous. Michelle, what do you think?
Adam, I don't think any one person should hold multiple elected positions. I think that if you're elected to a position, it's because, well, for the most part, especially in the local municipalities, the elected officials have actual other jobs. So, when we elect you to a position, we expect for you to put your energy into that position. So I don't think it's fair to the constituents for you to split your resources outside of what you need to sustain your life. Your full-time, so to speak, job or whatever it is.
Right.
So I don't think it's right.
Yeah, you know what, but it seems like they're rewarded. I just feel like I just feel like, a person can come into a seat, right? They can win an office for a school board, and then they'll run for office less than a year later, and they'll run for another seat, and it seems like the constituents just reward that particular person. They don't even need to have any type of showing that they've done anything. I think that examples of this is the person, I think she won over in Park Forest, one of the aldermen in Park Forest. She won the alderman seat, and then she ran less than a year later for state rep, and she won that one. At some particular point, and I'm not throwing rocks at this particular person. I'm not throwing rocks at anyone. But if you've only been in office for a year, right? Is it just the freshness that we just heard this person's name, so we're going to do it again? Are the voters, our voters, Walmart shoppers, and nothing to throw? I'm not throwing any shade on Walmart. But it just seems like voters just mechanically go through the motions. That's what it seems like. Mm-hmm. But I guess I'm looking at it through the lens of the danger of that, because when you have one person holding multiple seats, it just seems like it could be absolutely disastrous. The other thing is just interesting for me. Robin Kelly's been around a number of years. So what's interesting to me is the fact that she just did not have people that, I always thought, well, maybe if you're around, I guess this ain't no union job, right? If you're around 10 years, people who support you. Because Trustee Matz, was it a money raising issue? I know Pritzker more recently said that many of the committee people were struggling raising money. Was that the reason why he decided to go with a Hispanic, a woman, Elizabeth, what is her name? Elizabeth Hernandez. Was that the reason why he went with her? Is he trying to tap into another base?
I don't really have the intel to the mind of a well, I ain't gonna say what it is, but I don't really understand, the thinking behind that part of it. But there are other ways for Congresswoman Kelly to raise money through a committee that she was assembling to raise the necessary funds for the Democratic Party. They didn't give that an opportunity to even happen. I really hate that she, jumped out of the race, kind of withdrew her name. I would have drugged myself to the finish line. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You would have to show me all your cards in the deck. And at this point, I'm not playing nice in the sandbox. We're gonna duke it out to the end, because I was chosen to be the chairperson because of my strength, my knowledge. And so I'm going to show you exactly what I have to work with. And you're going to have to show me who were all of the people who said they were with me. Now all of a sudden they're not with me. I need to see that. And I believe that by her withdrawing her name, it's almost like playing nice in the sandbox. I'm not playing.
I agree. I'm guilty of that. I play nice in the sandbox. And because you all have people saying, well, nobody likes a negative campaign. Well, it works, whether you like it or not. In any event, Trustee Matz, what exactly does the Democratic chair, what is their role and responsibility? Do you know that?
Well, their role and responsibility is just that. You are the head of the party. You are the glue of the party. You are the leader of the party. There's so many structural things that you put into place that the underlings, for lack of a word, follow, right? Because by you being the chair, the committee woman, the head, you have all the other central committee men, all the other committee men that falls underneath, and you kind of lead the party. And that's exactly, just without going into all the tentacles of it, that's the nut of it.
Okay.
So you fund the party. You help grow the party financially. You help grow the next financially. You help in races financially.
So Pritzker, and I happen to be looking at some of the things that he said, but he said because of federal rules, it limits her ability as a member of Congress to do any type of substantial fundraising at a state level. And because of that, Kelly just was not a good, solid candidate because she really couldn't support candidates at a state level because of her connection with the federal. But you know what? But I guess over the years, as I watched Robin Kelly, I don't, maybe that's the reason why she didn't. Maybe we don't know enough about the reasons behind why she wasn't able to support local candidates. I've watched her over the years, and I didn't know that the federal government had some sort of limits on what she could do in terms of helping people at a state level. Because I often wondered, and you and I have talked about this in the past, what has she done? She hasn't helped anyone. Like, maybe this is part of the reason why she wasn't able to help anyone, because there are limits. And what are these limits?
So think about it this way. Look at all the judges that run, right? And what's the first thing they can't talk about raising money, but they sidekick can, right?
Yeah.
They always have somebody that's going to talk about money. They can't talk about it. So what? She can't talk about raising money, but her committee can. So that's just some BS.
It's baloney. It's baloney.
Yeah, straight up. It was a power grab. It was a power grab between Dick Durbin and Pritzker. That's all it is. So since Madigan got, the rug pulled out from under him permanently, now all of a sudden there is a power struggle. Who is the next? The man, right? So that's what that is.
Michelle, your hands up. What do you think?
Well, I was just thinking about just the recent census and how the Hispanic population has grown so much in Illinois as a whole, but particularly in the Chicagoland area. And the Black population is actually dwindling. because, we all want to move to Atlanta for some reason. I don't know why though. But I think that could be a reason too why Pritzker may have wanted a Hispanic woman to lead the party because he needs that support. And Hispanics, as they make more money, tend to be Republicans.
Well, and that's why, and not only that, Michelle, and but it just seems like the Hispanics, they don't vote, right? There may be more of them in numbers, but they don't tend to, they don't. It's just been in my experience that they don't always vote.
Not always vote. They don't vote.
I was trying to be nice, Cassandra.
No, we outvote them regardless to our numbers, fictitious numbers dwindling down. Numbers can be tampered with. Yes. So we still are a major voting block. They might outwork us because they get it. They've taken our affirmative action book and they have worked the hell out of it. They have jumped over us, but they cannot outvote us. Sorry.
Right. Well, that's what I was thinking. Because earlier I was thinking to myself, like, he supported her because of the Hispanic vote. But then I started thinking, well, just in fairness, I really think that Blacks still outvote Hispanics. Unfortunately, the Hispanics they're not really voters, and they're not really Democratic voters. They tend to seem to be much more, they seem to be much more conservative. So I don't know what this. I think that there's more to this particular choice that Pritzker made. Interesting enough, Cassandra, because this fellow. I'm gonna jump, but it's on the same topic. But Mr. David Orr, I mean, allegedly retired, right? But I for some reason, I think Mr. David Orr is a major player with some of these pieces. Am I the only one who's getting that feeling from Mr. Orr?
David Orr or Chuy Garcia, they all come back. They all come from the school of Harold Washington. So they are major players behind the scenes.
Are they working behind the scenes?
Behind the scenes. Yep.
So David Orr retired just to play Kingmaker.
I'm not quite sure about that, but possibly, I mean, he was very unassuming. It takes a certain type of person to really get entrenched in those leadership roles. I never saw him as anything other than kind of mousy-like, yes. But those are the ones that are
the ones you got to watch. Yeah. So David Orr started a organization called Citizens for Good Government, right? And this organization has only been around for about 4 years, if I recall. This organization is supposed to be one of these organizations that's supposed to encourage good government and ethics and blah, 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 right? And policy reform. I'd love to get him on the show, and I'm going to reach out to his office to see if he would be willing to come on and talk, because he's supposed to be in retirement. But what I'm noticing is it just seems like his tentacles are in a lot of these different things. His name seems to rise to the top, even though he allegedly he's retired and he's not really in the political landscape per se, right? At least with Chuy Garcia. Chuy Garcia is still in the political space. David Orr is supposed to be retired. He's gonna go lay on the beach and sip margaritas in Margaritaville. And really, it just seems like he has another agenda behind the scenes that's aligning nicely with J.B. Pritzker. And I think that alignment has gotten him. What is the lady now who took Dorothy Brown's seat? I think that what is her name? Iris Martinez. I think that some of these positions have been able to be, they were been successful because they got the support of a David Orr. What do you think?
I'm beginning to follow it a little more closely now, especially after what happened to Congresswoman Kelly. If we don't come together and we don't learn from what just happened, it's going to keep repeating itself. She didn't really have anybody to kind of help her broker this deal. So it's almost like not having a man in the house, right? And people will just abuse you because you have no covering, no protection. So she had no covering and no protection, and they were able to pretty much, mollywop the situation.
Where's Karen Yarbrough?
No, where is Madam Prepwinkle?
Where's Madam Prepwinkle?
Where is the major voting block in the Southland? Where is Rich Township? Where is Bremen Township?
Yeah.
Where's Thornton Township?
Where are all these people? Where's Tiffany Henyard?
All of those people should have stood up, insulated her, and said, "We are a major voting block. You take her out, you're gonna take us all out. We're gonna have to rethink what we do." Where was everybody at?
Well, I either they were throwing a party over there in Dalton or skating.
Skating.
Too soon? Is it too soon? Okay, but I don't know where they were. But I know that it just didn't sound like anybody other than Commissioner Donna Miller seems to be the only vocal person who actually said anything about what happened to Robin Kelly. On a sidebar, and listen, I saw Robin Kelly this weekend, and I see her all the time. I don't even know if the woman knows my name. She knows that I'm somebody, but I don't even think she gives a damn about me. She's never came to the rescue, even when I'm getting my ass mollywop. I think about the number of individuals that have, when my last race more recently here, where people were running. It just seemed like the party had just flocked behind this one person, even though the person had no, in my humble opinion, didn't have any, why are we following this person? But the party rallied and everybody rallied around this particular person. So is it one of those things? And I guess I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, oh, well, in some ways, I guess I shouldn't be thinking this way, but you know that face, Cassandra, that I'm making?
Right.
You know that,
like you looking at me.
Michelle, you know what that face is, right? I'm not going to tell you. I'm saying, oh well, but
let me tell you why you should care.
Okay, why should I care?
You should care because when she's on fire, just some little flames, eventually that fire is going to jump over on you, and then nobody's going to care about you. So I think we should care because we have a vested interest, and our vested interest is dwindling away. By letting her be the sacrificial lamb, what else do we have? What other recourse do we have? And until we all come together and make a plan that is usable, we're going to get mollywopped again and again and again and again.
Yeah, well, and listen, when I say I don't care, because so Trustee Match, I care, and I definitely am not one of those individuals that say off with their heads, even though sometimes I'd be thinking that. But I do think that we as a community have to do a better job at partnering and building coalitions so that when things that like this happen, and myself included, I'm not the only one. I'm not exempting myself from this conversation, but I think that until we start, sometimes we do top-down management, right, and leadership. I think we need to start from the bottom up, right? We need to start grabbing those people that are up and coming, rising stars. I always tell people, and I'm not saying that I'm a rising star, Michelle, so don't look at me all crazy. But what I'm saying is, you got to start grooming people, at a lower level in hopes of getting them up there where you want them to be. But then that's how you start building those coalitions. Who's doing that now? Because I don't really see that. I see more, keep your cards close to the vest. Who's really like I know when Deborah Sims retired, she didn't even really have anybody for that seat. She just grabbed this person that she just grabbed the body, right? And, I feel like it was that Muhammad Ali movie where any two will do, right? Any two will do. Like who's grooming the future generation? And isn't that job of a leader to start grooming somebody to take your place because you're not always going to be around?
That is correct. So look at Bobby Rush, look at Danny Davis, look at all the people who sit in the seats until they rot.
Yeah.
I don't know if they feel that once they step out of that position, they become extinct. I think you can become even more valuable once you step out of that seat and take all that institutional knowledge and pour into someone else via lecturing, via teaching, via grooming on the outside. But meanwhile, while you're sitting in that seat, you should be grooming someone, i.e., your chief of staff, who knows everything. You know what I'm saying? Somebody within your office. You should be grooming them and should be showing them the way, should be introducing them so that it's a smooth transition, especially if you're doing a good job. If you're doing
Absolutely.
a good job, you want it to continue. So the way it would continue is someone in your office. I don't see any of that happening. I don't see people under their tutelage at all.
So Bobby Rush came out today, and I don't know if you heard this, but Bobby Rush came out and said that Joe Biden should give
Kamala.
What's his name?
Kamala Harris. Are you talking about her?
No, no. Bobby Rush said that Jesse Jackson Jr. and his wife should get a federal pardon and an apology. Did you see this today?
I did not. I don't watch the news.
Well, I don't watch it either. It came all on my feed. Okay, I didn't watch it either. But Bobby Rush, and it is Bobby Rush retired.
Yeah, he's retired now that Jonathan Jackson is the new congressman. If he, makes it through the general, I think there's a Republican vying for that seat, and
Right.
they're coming after everybody's seat.
we had some of those Republicans that are supposed to be on tonight because I think that they're starting to see Chicago as an opportunity to they're looking at and you know what? Let me just tell you something. I remember when I was driving, and and you can tell me if I'm talking too much, Michelle, but I used to drive for Uber. So when I would run for office, at times I would drive for Uber just to try to make ends meet because I had a crappy work schedule and I was trying to make a couple extra dollars. And this one time when I was driving for Uber, this young lady got into the car, and a fairly attractive a Caucasian lady, and I said, "You look nice today." And this is what she says to me, Cassandra. That's the second compliment I got today. I'm gonna have to rethink your kind. That's what she said.
Rethink your kind.
That's what she said. So, beautiful. So when she said it, it was almost like a slip. She wasn't trying to be offensive, right? She wasn't trying to. I don't even think she even thought nothing of it, even though I guess I wasn't her kind. And when she realized that could be assault, she's like, "Oh my God, my daughter tells me that I talk much," and I was like, "It's okay. You're not in my black car."
Maybe she was a lesbian.
You said what?
Maybe she was a lesbian. She needs to rethink men.
No, she said that. Okay, so I knew that somebody was going to think that. What she said was she was in the post office earlier that day, and another man, happened to be black, gave her a compliment.
No,
and this is the second compliment. No, I didn't share that part. but this was the second compliment that she's gotten from a black man.
Right. I knew that your kind meant a black man. I was just making a funny.
Yeah.
I tried to make the conversation lighter.
Oh yeah. Well, listen, listen. As offensive as the comment was, I was just like, you see my face again, Michelle? But I didn't get into it with her because she was a passenger in my car and I wasn't there. She wasn't in the car for me I didn't have to like her. I just needed her to pay her bill. And that was my goal, was to get her to pay the bill. But my point for sharing that with you is it the same thing with Bobby Rush? Bobby Rush coming out saying that people owe these people an apology. Didn't Jesse Jackson Jr. and his wife admit guilt?
I don't know.
I think they admitted guilt. They pled guilty, okay, to this. So this wasn't like somebody, it wasn't like somebody made up something on him, but for him to say that they owe him an apology, I just didn't understand. Is it just a slip up? I mean, where does he get off thinking that?
Maybe because what they did wasn't egregious. You got mass murderers killed. Look at the woman who lied on Emmett Till, who's still alive and who is still free. Shouldn't she have been thrown in the slammer by now? Should she have been? I mean, so what? He, was with some prostitutes. I don't know what the story is. Whatever he was doing, that ain't nothing new. And
Bobby Rush said, though their crimes, and I'm reading his exact words, okay, though their crimes were serious, I firmly believe that Jesse and Sandy have not only shown remorse, but have atoned for them as well. And they should be given a federal pardon and they should be given an apology.
I agree. They should be given a federal pardon. I don't know about the apology. They did the time.
Well, Michelle, what do you think? You think that they should get an apology and the let go? I mean, and a pardon?
Who's gonna give the apology? And why would they be apologizing to them?
Was Bobby Rush just trying to be in the paper, Trustee Matz?
It sounds like it. He was trying to be
he's just sitting around like, I don't have anything else to do. I'm gonna just put this there to make the Jacksons more relevant. Was it one of those things where he's just like, okay, I'm just gonna put this out there, you know what I mean? And what's interesting to me about that is like, why now? What is going on? Was this for Jonathan Jackson's run? Is this all to try to fan those flame keepers? What's going on?
Well, I'm pretty sure he wasn't trying to do any favors for Jonathan Jackson. Remember, that was not his candidate. He had a different candidate. So maybe he's trying to re-up the situation and say, listen, you all sent another Jackson to Washington, D.C. He was kind of shady with that one. I think
but he has, okay, so now just staying with your point, Jackson would have to be his candidate, right? Because there's no other Democrat. What is he going to vote for, the Republican that's challenging him?
No, what I'm saying is it could be a little salty that his candidate did not win. Of course, you understand?
Yeah, so kind of like the salt that the dad threw on Obama.
Pretty much like that.
Yeah,
so he's he's playing this card in a shady room by saying it's like a backhanded compliment. We should pardon and ask for a apology. But meanwhile, the underbelly of that is like, do y'all remember that his brother was a congressman and he messed that seat up and y'all gonna send another one there? You know what I'm saying? So that might be just my way of thinking about that, because I don't even understand when we got so many other fish to fry. We're in a recession. They just nuked Ukraine, and you talking about what? What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, I just find that very interesting. Tomorrow, if you're just joining, welcome to Tea and Conversation. This is Trustee Adam Winston. So I just want to make certain that I do my housekeeping stuff. The Republicans, I shouldn't call them the Republicans. Is it okay for me to call them the Republicans? They did not show. So hopefully, I know the young lady Wallace, from what I understand, Jennifer Wallace, who's running for that 5th district seat. I'm trying to get her to come on so that you guys can ask this woman who's running for the 5th congressional seat. Jason Decker is not here, so but this woman is actually running against Jason Decker, and she's also running against Monica Gordon as a Republican for this seat. So I am looking forward to possibly getting her on, because even though she's a Republican, I don't know. I mean, I don't even know if we could take that for granted in Cook County. People seem to be a little bit, and maybe that's why so many Republicans running. People are just kind of sick of the games that the party is playing. So I don't know if they really have a chance, but we still got to give them, let them have an opportunity to talk. So hopefully she comes on maybe next week or so on and so forth. I'm also looking for the lady, the Black owner of the ice cream shop that's in your community, Cassandra. So I would love to be able to have her on, and any other small business that does some cooking, or cooking or sharing, because they can mix do the thing through Zoom and show us how they, like they do on TV, right? Even though we may not necessarily be able to taste it, but I do think people should know about their business, and Olympia Fields isn't really that far away. So I would love to have them on to get some of that delicious ice cream and let other people know about it. I can drive there. I go to Olympia Fields. I got some cool friends that live in Olympia Fields, and I would like to get some of that ice cream. But until then, I'd like to see that. But until then, we are going to be talking about the Republicans that are, because there's a ton of them. Bob Fiorini, I don't know if you caught this, but Bob Fiorini, he was a Democrat. He's now running as a Republican. And I think he's running against Tony Prewinkle, right?
Bob Fiorini? Yeah, no, I'm not sure. Yeah,
I think Bob, I think he's running against, how do you spell that last name?
Not sure.
Fig, F-I-G, Rini.
Why don't you ask Alexa? You pay enough for Alexa.
I don't have Alexa on.
Alexa, how do you spell Bob Fiorini?
This might answer your question. Bob Fiorini is spelled B-O-B space F-I.
His name is Fioretti. Fioretti.
Well, if you knew that, you could have you'd have to put us through all of this.
Well, I'm working at the same time that I'm listening to you.
Okay, so Bob Fiorini, who looks younger every time I see him. He looks younger. No, seriously, he really. I think the guy has shed about 40 years. And I don't think he's jumping in the water of the Cocoon. I don't know if you ever saw that movie Cocoon, where you could get in the water and you would just get instantly younger. Bob Fiorini, he looks like he's like Tom Cruise. He's never aging. But he is now running. Let me see what the news says. The GOP has put up its largest slate in years. And Bob is running. Okay, yes, he's running against Tony Prewinkle for that seat. So I'm looking at it here. He is actually running against against Tony Prewinkle. Does he have a shot in heck?
It seems like all the Republicans think they do. They feel that the Democratic Party is fractured, and this is as good time as any to jump into the race. Across Cook County and Illinois.
Fiorini has lost in nearly every campaign cycle since not seeking re-election for alderman. So he ran for mayor. He endorsed Mayor Rahm Emanuel, but he came in fourth. And last year or 2 years ago, he ran for the state's attorney. And of course, he did not win. And then he ran for mayor against Lori Lightfoot. And then now he is running against Tony Prepwinkle. And Tony Prepwinkle has been there for I think she served about 4 terms. And this time he's decided, as opposed to running as a Democrat, which he has all the time, he's decided that he's going to run as a Republican. I don't know. Is it something that we're missing? Because I'm trying to figure out, why would this person who's been a long supporting Democrat feel like he has an opportunity to beat? I mean, that's in Cook County, that seems to be the worst possible thing that you should do if you want to try to win, is run as a Republican. What is he seeing on the tea leaves that we're missing? What is he reading?
Maybe he feel that enough Democrats are over the shenanigans, or over being taken advantage of, over being predictable. And now we're at the point that we're unpredictable. We might want to switch over. I don't know. Maybe he's rolling the dice. What does he have to lose? He got everything to gain.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think that some of these people, they know that they're not going to win in the primary, but they feel like enough people are fed up, so to speak, with the people who are in office, that if they can go head to head against them, that they may be able to sway more votes that way.
Yeah. But listen, I mean, so, and I guess every time I see some of this stuff, I learn more and more. I'm trying to figure out, how did this happen? Well, the primaries was June 28th. The primary was June 28th. And I guess, and that's why I was hoping that I could have people from the Republican Party that came out. How do they get by that primary and then just enter into the general election as a Republican? Isn't the primary for the established parties? So I really don't understand that. Trustee Matz, do you understand why they didn't have to run in the primaries and they can still get on the ballot?
I do not. When it comes to the Republican side of the fence, I don't really pay attention to that. I just try to pay attention to our Democratic Party, try to keep the glue together, and hopefully when we run, we win. Right.
Well, there are a number, I did look at the State Board of Elections today. There are a number of those Republican candidates that had such a small window to get their signatures, and they struggled to get their signatures because they're running as Republicans in Cook County. So there are a number of people that are probably going to not be on the ballot because they struggled to get those signatures to run as a Republican in Cook County. So if you are a Republican trying to win office, you probably don't want to bring your butt down here to Glenwood or Olympia Fields. You're probably just not going to get as many signatures as you might get in some of the other communities, but you would definitely have to pick your targets if you want to run as a Republican, I would think, because even though people complain about the Democrat, it just seems like in Cook County, more people actually run as a Democrat. There are elections coming on up locally. So I'm going to pivot for a minute. And I'm going to, before I go into the local municipalities, there are, I don't know when your community is doing yours, Trustee Matz, but the Village of Glenwood tomorrow night will be having their national, what is this called? The National Night Out, where you come out and it's supposed to get the police and the community more
engaged.
More engaged. And they do it every year. It's generally the first meeting in the month of August, whatever your community's meeting times. Ours happens to be the first Tuesday of the month. Our agenda came out. And this was one of the best agendas that I've seen since we've been doing this National Night Out. I think maybe about 5 years ago. and this agenda has nothing on it. So I am so glad that they didn't try to cram generally at National Night Out. And I would caution anybody that's running, that's on a board, that when they have these feel good moments, that's when they try to jam things through. Keep your eye on the ball. But this time they didn't do that. Our agenda has no goodies crammed in there. So you can come out, bring the family, listen to some music or what have you at the park. Ours is at 192nd and Minerva at that Hickory Glen Park. It will be a hot one tomorrow. So if you do come out there, just understand that it is going to be warm. But there's really no meeting. It's going to be maybe the police chief may say a couple of words, but after that, it's smooth sailing. There's nothing on the agenda for the board to approve. So I hope that I see you tomorrow at tomorrow's board meeting. But now I want to jump into, and we only got a little short window, Trustee Matz. But there are elections coming up for municipalities. I know we're jumping from one, the gubernatorial election, they pushed it back. So it may seem overwhelming for a lot of people. But the local municipalities, their election is coming up in April. Signatures that can be circulated after Labor Day. So if you're going to be considering running for a library, the school board, a trustee or alderman in your community, you will have to start doing that right after Labor Day. You can start collecting your signatures. I am going to be running again for my seat, so hopefully I have the support of Glenwood. I should have the support of Glenwood, right, Michelle? But my hope is that I can run with two other candidates to make certain that I have a good slate, and that that we can continue doing the work that's necessary in this town. So my hope is that we get two other people that are ready to rock and roll with me, that are going to roll up their sleeves and take one for the team, because it is a lot of work here in the village of Glenwood. So if you're going to be doing that, Trustee Matz, hint, hint, after Labor Day, it's the time to start collecting those signatures so that you can get your name on that ballot.
I hear you.
What do you got to say?
I hear you.
Listen, you know what? As difficult as it's, I've never been on a board since being elected to the village of Glenwood where I had, you know, I was always the minority on the board. I feel like I'm Israel, right? All of my enemies are on all of my borders, right? I just feel like Israel. But it's made me more knowledgeable about the process, because I can't trust anything, okay? And I have to verify everything. And I have to find different ways to try to connect with people that essentially hate me. But I think that it's better to have a seat at the table, even though I'm still waiting on FOIA requests. I'm still waiting on people to come to give me information that I requested. We have one of your Trustee Matz from Olympia Fields. We did, we welcomed somebody that used to work in Olympia Fields here. She's now our finance director and she came from Olympia Fields. So we just welcomed her. I'm sorry you guys lost her. She seems to be hopefully she'll be a good fit for Glenwood. I think Cynthia Smith is her name. She's the finance director over here in the village of Glenwood. I don't know if you know her, but she's here now. And we swore her in. So I think this is her third week. Is it second week or third week that she's been our finance director. So I wish her well. So is there any other business that I need to take care of, Michelle? Oh, we are doing the flat tax this Wednesday. The flat tax will be happening on Zoom. So we will be doing that. Trustee Matz is not in Mexico, so she will be attending that show as the host. And we also will have, if you are in the village of Glenwood, they will be having their homeowners association meetings that starts at 7, right, Michelle?
That is correct.
Okay, so if you can, please stop by and support your local
Weed
Public
man.
Points homeowners association meeting is Wednesday. The other ones are not Wednesday, this Wednesday.
Right. Well, not all of them, but support your local homeowners association. And actually, you know what? BBHA, I don't know if you know, Michelle, and I'm just going to drop this on you. I changed the name when I was the president of that organization, and I made it BPHA or BPHA. Okay. And the reason why I made it BPHA is Brookwood Point Home Association. I made it where you did not necessarily have to be a owner in order to feel like you could participate. So is that something that you guys have taken any?
No, the name is, as far as I know, is still Brookwood Homeowners Association. However, we do abbreviate it BPHA.
Right. Well, it's supposed to be BPHA because that was an initiative that it used to be BPHOA. I changed it to BPHA so that people that live in condos, so that people that live in apartments, so people that are renting still feel like they're part of the community. One of the
They're
things
welcome to come. No one has told them they cannot come. They're welcome to come. The reason why I don't type out BPHA when I put the message out is because people may not know what that means.
right.
And they, so I have to kind of say it's Brookwood Point.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, it's something because a lot of times when people live in condos or they're not Trustee Matz, I'll talk to you later. We're about to all sign off. But if you're not an owner, they feel like they don't have to participate. But I encourage everyone, whether you're a homeowner or just somebody living in the town, to get engaged with your community.
I agree.
Yeah. In any event, well, if that's it, I am going to sign off because I've had a busy weekend and I'm tired. And I got to get up early to finish this project over in Chicago Heights where we're putting in windows. So I am exhausted and I am going to take a nap right now.
Good night.
Have a good night. I will see you guys later. Thank you for joining Tea and Conversation.